Okay, so it's the last day of the month, and therefore it is book review time. All of those books that have influenced me in the past. So today I actually want to talk about The Witching Way of the Hollow Hill by Robin Artisan. And so, first the intro, let's get into that. So, many years ago, I will be showing my age now. This was back when the office I used to work in only had one computer that connected to the internet, and I was looking for more, sort of raw, primal sort of witchcraft, and I came across the Meadows of Elfhame, and this was one of, well, may have actually been the only site of Robin's at the time. I'm not sure, but anyway, it was one of Robin's websites, and absolutely fantastic. It really is one of my old loves. It read like you know those books where you actually get to the end of the page and you have a choice of what you want to do next, and then if you choose option A, you go to page XYZ. If you choose option B, you go to a different page and you carry on with the tale. So it sort of read like this. So you would go into the forest, and then you would go to various different places and meet different people. And as you skipped around, these people would teach you specific things about traditional witchcraft. And it was just the way it just came across, and the power behind it was immense. It was just one of those things that, early on it was just captivating. It was absolutely fascinating. And unfortunately the site over the years has been taken down. But some good news. I've just written to Robin just now and asked him if he's got any intentions of republishing the site, or if he has objections for me to actually republish the site. Because back then, because we only had one computer on the internet, what I did was I downloaded the whole thing as a PDF and discovered that I've actually still got it. So I've got all the original text. So there's two bits of good news. One is that he is going to actually be republishing the whole thing as a book. It's going to be revised, it's going to be edited, new text added, whole new load of images that are going to be created for it. But he's also given me permission to republish the old site. So I'm going to be putting that up on the internet again, with a new intro from Robin, etc. And then when the book's out, I'll obviously link to that, so you can go read the revised edition of it, or version of it. So very exciting news. I'm very excited about that. It's, as I say, it was just, I loved it. It was it's my old love when it comes to traditional witchcraft. So that was my introduction to traditional craft and to Robin Artisan. And now, as far as I know, this was the original cover of this book. This was his first book. It's when he started Alblink Bookcrafting Company. So you probably might not find this cover now. There's a new one. I'm actually rereading it at the moment. But it really is a fantastic book. I personally think it's his best. I haven't read his more recent books, so I must actually get my hands on those. But this has always been, for me, just the best book he's written. It goes into the worldview of the traditional pagan and the old Celts and the Anglo-Saxons and the Indo-Europeans. And it discusses the soul and the spirit and the body and the relationship between them. It goes into the dead. When we die, we become the hidden folk, and become part of the land and things like that. So it goes into the whole worldview of traditional paganism. And Robin is inspired, but but he's also extremely well studied. He has met some incredible people in this journey. So he's incredibly well studied, he's incredibly well practiced. And if you want traditional witchcraft, Robin's definitely the route to go. There are a lot of other fantastic people like Peter Padden, who later on started publishing his books until he died, unfortunately. But yeah, Robin's just one of those people that, the funny thing is, I remember being on Robin's Yahoo groups, and people would come on and they would just attack him, and he would just stand his ground. His arguments were fantastic. I used to love watching those arguments. I used to sometimes love getting involved in them as well. But yeah, he's one of those people who will stand his ground, and he fights for what he believes in, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But anyway, so the book, it's basically got two sections to it. So the first is about the traditional paganism worldview, about the gods and the goddesses and things like that. The second part of the book reads like a grimoire for traditional paganism, and the rituals in there are fantastic. The meditations themselves, the hissing meditation, how to gain the witch sight and things like that. It's definitely not something you would find in a Silver Ravenwolf book. But it's even R.J. Stewart. R.J. Stewart's fantastic as well. Sort of has a bit of a different lean towards the fairy folk and things than Robin, but also fantastic. But I don't know. I personally, I just prefer Robin's work. So anyway, if you actually want to discover traditional witchcraft, proper traditional witchcraft, none of the watered down stuff, none of the new age or newage rhymes with sewage type stuff that we used to talk about, then get your hands on Robin Artison's book, The Witching Way of the Hollow Hill. As I said, brilliant. I just want to read you a passage from the beginning of the book. Okay, 2 paragraphs. Bear with me. In my way of thinking, what makes a person a pagan is not adherence to the dogma of a pagan religion, or even some strongly individualistic way of challenging the status quo, nor of embracing an antique religious model. In the modern day, those models tend to be created by certain left-wing people to bolster some equally as left-wing ideologies. True and honest paganism is hard to come by. In my opinion, being pagan is far from any of that. It is a matter of changing your worldview to an older way of seeing and being, giving reconsideration to older wisdoms, and making them relevant to you today. There is a struggle of spirit going on. People are looking for wisdom and peace, and some look back to the past for hints about how others once found it. This is a good impulse. The past has much to teach us, but it is still a struggle, because mainstream religions strongly disapprove of people looking too far back. So that's its basic view on what a pagan is. So yeah, as I say, if you want to find out about traditional paganism, definitely get that book. It will open your eyes. It will probably change your life. It did mine. Well, not the book, but Meadows of Elfhame, which again I'm very excited about. Alright, so that's it for this week and for this month. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.